Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be making 3 Urban Outfitter dupes today from these 3 pieces that I just recently purchased at the thrift store. So we're going to be creating these 3 pieces that I found on Urban Outfitters, and we're going to be using a scarf, a t-shirt, and finally just a white pair of jeans we're going to use to create these pair of pants. So I'm really excited to get started, so let's get into the first thrift flip. So as I'm looking at this photo of the top we're going to make first, I need to make a triangle that fits nicely around my front torso. So I see here the front top of the triangle is going to be folded down like this, but you can see this one is way too big, which is good because we need to make some straps with it. So I'm going to get started by just creating the first bodice piece so it will fit me, and then we're going to go ahead and make the straps.
So the first thing I am doing is I'm measuring out how long and how tall I want this diamond shape to be, or square shape, whatever you want to call it. And then once I had that, I just pinned it, and then I am just taking my ruler and drawing out this diamond / square shape, and then we are just gonna cut it. And then with the leftover fabric, we're gonna cut out these long strips, a whole bunch of them, and then we're gonna turn these into the straps. So make them about 1 inch to 1.5 inches wide.
So I just realized I cut way too much. I cut enough for like 3 of these tops because this is only a few straps and it's plenty long. So I definitely can make a few more straps with the extras, but I guess it's better to have more than not enough. So I'm gonna continue on the strap now. So now that I have it like this, I'm just gonna fold the right sides together and then just do a stitch all the way down the whole length, and then we're gonna flip it inside out, and then the strap's gonna be done. So I'm gonna try to turn the strap inside out with this chopstick because I don't have the tool that you're supposed to use to turn this inside out. So I'm crossing my fingers. I feel like every single time I turn a strap inside out, I try a new method, and usually they're never that good. So let's just hope that it doesn't take too long to turn the strap inside out. Oh my gosh, the chopstick is actually working. Thank freaking goodness. It's tight, but it's somewhat working. It's actually working. Oh my goodness. Done. Oh my gosh, my stomach's red.
And then once the strap was completely turned right side, I guess right side out, I just did a top stitch on both sides. So on the left side of the strap and the right side of the strap. You don't have to do this, but I like putting a top stitch on my straps.
So I am done my strap now. It looks good. So now I'm gonna move on to the top here. You can see on my top, it already has a rolled hem on the bottom piece right here. So I'm gonna leave this as is, and I'm gonna keep this as the bottom because it's already finished, but I'm gonna finish the 2 sides here with another rolled hem. So I'm gonna do that quickly before I move on to actually putting the top together now. So now I pretty much just have the square for the front of the top. So now I got to add the little things, or little loops on the side, so we can add the string there, and then we gotta finish off the top.
So for the loops, I ended up just cutting some of the strap off and then just using those for the loops. So what I did was I cut a loop about maybe 3 inches long, and then I folded it in half, and then that's how I created the loop. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it right sides together. So I'm gonna stitch back and forth, just have it reinforced, and then I'm gonna flip it inside. So this is the inside of the top, and you are just gonna fold it once over, and then you're gonna fold it again back, and then you're just gonna do a nice stitch to hold it in place, and then it'll look really good at the end. I hope that makes sense, but this is what you want it to look like in the end. So now we're just gonna take the top, and you're gonna put the right side down towards the table, and you're gonna take the top of the top, and you're gonna fold it over once over, and then you're gonna fold it another time over, and then you're just gonna pin it or clip it down, whatever you have, and you're going to take it to the sewing machine, and you're going to do a straight stitch along the bottom of the fold. You want to make sure that you have enough room to actually feed through the strap, because this is where the strap is going to go. But after I was done that, all I did was I took a safety pin, strapped it or clipped it or something to the strap, and then I just kind of fed it through the top of the top here, you can see, and then you're just gonna wanna put it in the center so both strings on both sides are even. And you're gonna do like a little crisscross. It's a little confusing, but you just crisscross it and then put it through the loop on each side. And then that's how you make the top. Here's a diagram if you're a little confused.
Okay, so this is how the first shirt turned out. I am actually really impressed with this one. I'm actually overall really impressed. I was a little iffy about it just because it's made from an actual scarf. I was thinking it wasn't gonna be very protective and, you know, the coverage and stuff wasn't gonna be great. But to be honest, I feel really comfortable in this. Like, this is a nice shirt for summer. Not right now, but for summer. So I definitely think I'm gonna wear this a lot in the summer, especially when it's really hot out, because man, this is a really, really cool shirt. So for our next thrift flip, you are just gonna need a plain t-shirt or a colored t-shirt or a tie-dye t-shirt, whatever you prefer. You're gonna need some stretchy thread, and you are gonna need a bobbin for the stretchy thread.
And you will also need 1/2" elastic, which I forgot to mention.
So the first thing we're gonna do with our t-shirt is we're gonna figure out what length we want the actual like bodice, torso of the shirt. So I wanna do the least amount of work. So I'm gonna keep the bottom hemmed and I'm not gonna cut it there. So I just have to figure out where the top is gonna be. So I'm thinking about here, this length. And then if I want it a bit shorter, I can crop it more, but I do want to add some seam allowance, so I'm gonna crop it about there, the shirt. So I'm just gonna hem the top here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold it over once, stitch around, and then I'm gonna fold it over one more time and stitch around, and then that will leave a nice clean edge, and it'll also be simple and I don't have to actually get out my iron. So this is my favorite go-to technique for actually hemming things. So now that we got our oversized tube top, we can now get our bobbin ready with our stretchy thread. So you're gonna wanna hand wind this. You're not gonna wanna put it on your sewing machine and wind it that way. You're gonna just wanna hand wind it. I don't know how else to say that, but you're pretty much just gonna wrap this around and try your best to kind of hold it, and then just wrap it around without pulling it too tight, and you just keep going until the bobbin is full, and that's it. And there we go. I got it all wound up. But now that we have the stretchy thread in the bobbin, I feel like it has a different name. I don't think it's called stretchy thread or elastic thread, maybe it's called, but whatever. I'll have it linked down below, whatever it's called, and you can find out what it's called that way. But anyways, but once you have the stretchy thread in the bobbin case, or when you have it all in there, yeah, when it's in there, when your stretchy thread is in there, you can start sewing now. So I'm just gonna start at the top here, and I'm gonna just go 1/2 inch between each one, and wow, I am terrible at explaining this.
Yeah, that was a terrible explanation, but I'll explain it now. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna be doing a continuous stitch all the way around this top. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna do a straight stitch about 1/2 inch from the bottom seam or the top seam, whatever you're starting. You can start from the top or the bottom, and you're just gonna pull, and you're just gonna do it like so. You're just gonna keep going a straight stitch. And once you get all the way around, you're just gonna keep kind of doing this big, huge swirl around the top until you finish it about 1/2 inch. Is, you know, like an ice cream swirl, like all the way around. It's a perfect swirl, and it's like 1/2 inch or whatever, you know, apart from each swirl. But we're doing an ice cream swirl for this whole top. I don't know if that explanation was any better.
So here is my top now. It looks awfully tiny, so I'm gonna try this on now to make sure it fits, because I did not expect it to be this tiny. It's never been this small when I've done this before, so let's cross our fingers it fits. Okay, it fits. It fits, guys. It actually fits really nicely. You know when you get, like, you know, the stretchy tops and they're like this big, and then when you put them on, you're like, whoa, it actually fits. It's that type of shirt. I didn't realize that it was actually gonna be that small once I put it together, but it fits nicely. It's just like a nice tube top. It's not going anywhere. I can like move around, and it's not going anywhere. So that's exactly what I wanted, because the sleeves that we're gonna add are not really gonna hold up the top. This is what's holding up the top, is the elastic in here. So you definitely want this snug. You do not want this loose. So if it's loose, you gotta make it tighter. So I don't think it'll be loose if you did it the way I did it. So next, we can just put this over top, and then this could be just a look like this, huh?
And now for the sleeves. So with the rest of the top, you're just gonna wanna make the biggest rectangle you can with your leftover fabric. And you're just gonna cut it, and then after that, after you cut it, you're gonna get 2 rectangles like so, 1 for each sleeve. But now we're gonna move on to the top, and we're just gonna draw these 2 triangles on each part of the sleeve. So this is where the sleeves are going to attach. So I am just tracing them out, and they should look like so. And if you put the top together, they will be the exact same on each side. So if you flipped it over, they line up perfectly. And now we're gonna move to the ironing board with our sleeves. So what I'm doing here is I'm just making a nice hem where I fold it over once, iron it down, and then fold it over once more and iron it down. You want it to be about 3/4 of an inch, so your 1/2 inch elastic, it can fit in this. This is gonna be for the top and the bottom, so you're gonna want to do the same for the top of the sleeve, bottom of the sleeve, and then you're gonna take it to the sewing machine and just do a straight stitch. Next, we're going to be taking it to the top now, and you're going to take the top of the sleeve, and you're just going to do these 2 marks where you have those triangles, and you're just going to measure it out, and you want the same angle on these tops. So what I'm doing is I just drew it out a line, and then I trimmed it for both of them. This is going to be the top, and then you're going to make sure that it lines up nicely like so.
Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take some elastic. This is a 1/2 inch elastic, and we are gonna feed it through the top of the sleeve here, and I'm just gonna use a safety pin to thread it through. So I have it thread through now. This is what it looks like. I'm gonna leave it scrunched just a little because I like the look of this. And I think that's about good because when I stretch it out, it's pretty much back to normal. So you want it a little bit scrunched. You don't want it too much, otherwise it's gonna be too tight on your shoulder. And now I'm just gonna do a stitch on each end of the elastic just so it will keep it there. And I just went back and forth a few times when I stitched the end of it just so, you know, the elastic's very, very secure and it will not come undone. But now I'm just going to trim it, and then I will move on to the bottom of the sleeves.
So for the bottom of the sleeves, you're doing the exact same thing, except you definitely want to measure your arm just to make sure that it's not too tight on your arm. So definitely measure out the elastic, how tight you want it around the top part of your arm where the sleeve is going to fit before you go and you do all this.
So now that we have our sleeves here, we can go ahead and attach them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the top part of the sleeve here where we have this like angled edge, and I'm gonna pin it right sides together with this kind of triangle piece that we drew out. So I'm gonna put this side, right sides together on this side first. I'm gonna pin it, and then I'm gonna just do a straight stitch all the way down, and then I'm gonna do the exact same thing on this side where it's gonna be right sides together, and then we're gonna have the sleeve attached like so. Hopefully you get that, but either way, I'm gonna show you how you do it.
So like I just mentioned, you're just gonna pin one side of the sleeve first to the actual triangle part, just pin it down, and then you're gonna take it to your sewing machine and just do a straight stitch all the way down to the bottom of the triangle. And then after that, we're gonna be doing a zigzag on top of this straight stitch, and it's gonna look like so. So you want the width to be very wide, and then you want the length to be very short. You're gonna do this on both sides, and you're also gonna wanna do a little back stitch on top of each of the elastics so it just stays tight so it doesn't come undone after you wear it. So this is what it's going to look like after on both sides, the front and the back. And once you have it like that, we can go ahead and we can trim it. So don't trim it too close to your seam. Have a little excess there, but not too much excess that you actually are feeling it when you wear it, but a little bit of excess. And then after that, we're gonna be just pinning the sleeves together and finishing off. So what I did was I just put the right sides together and I just pinned them together, and then we're just be doing a straight stitch, and we are finally done the top.
I'm actually really, really impressed with myself. This is how the shirt turned out, and overall, I am so excited for this shirt. It fits absolutely perfect. I don't have to wear a bra with it. It's just like, fits amazing, and I'm just like so impressed that this used to be a t-shirt. And now for our last thrift flip, we're gonna be turning these white pair of jeans into these cow pants right here, which this is the thrift flip I was most excited for, so that's why I kind of saved it to the end so I could really, you know, finish strong, I guess. I'm excited for this one, but before I can get into the painting, I do need to alter these just because they're too big. So these are just a little big in the waist, but I actually do like the fit in the actual leg portion, so I just need to make this waist a lot smaller. So how much do I need to take off? It's like 4 inches, which is quite a lot.
So I recommend you just getting a pair of jeans that actually just fit you, and don't buy a pair of jeans that are way too big, because then you'll have to alter them and it's just going to add more time and it's not going to be a quick thrift flip. So I could recommend just actually getting a pair of pants that fit so you don't have to alter it like I did.
So I just finished altering the pants. They look really good. I'm really happy with them. I only altered the top, which was really nice because it was just over an hour to actually do the whole thing. So it was a nice quick thrift flip or alteration, and I'll show you. This is how they look now. They are nice and high-waisted. They are wide leg. Overall, they fit really well, and they're really comfy. So next, I'm gonna start painting them now. So I'm gonna show you the supplies I'm using and just my technique of how I'm gonna paint them, and then we're done.
So for the paint, you're going to want to get some black acrylic paint. Doesn't matter about the brand. You're going to need some golden GAC 900. This will make it into fabric paint. And then when you're using it, make sure you use about 1/4 of the GAC to the amount of paint that you're using. You're going to have to fill this up a whole bunch. Like, I used a lot of paint, so I'd get a big thing of acrylic, and then you don't use much of the GAC, so you can get the smallest one you can. And then after that, I just drew out the pattern I wanted. And after I drew it out just with a black marker, I was good to go. I just painted away. I used 2 different brushes. I used the thick one and then a thin one. So the thick one to get the majority of the paint on, and then I went in with a thin one afterwards and just cleaned up the edges and made it very pretty. You know, my perfectionist definitely came out in this project because I painted for a long time. I painted for a really long time, longer than you will probably do it, just because I'm a perfectionist and I wanted it to look really pretty up close. And really, Benson. But really, there's not much else more to do with this thrift flip. After you're done painting it, the front and the back, you're done. There's no top coats. There's nothing else you have to do other than you have to heat set it, but I'll tell you how to do that in a minute.
Okay, so I just painted for a really long time. I did not expect it to take that long, but again, I am a perfectionist, so that's why it's taken so long, or taken so long, is because I'm a perfectionist, so I wanted it to be perfect, so I just spent a lot of time on it. But if you're painting it and you're not a perfectionist, it probably won't take that long. But anyways, it is drying right now, but after it's done drying, I'm gonna put it in the dryer for about 20-25 minutes to heat set it, because I did put the medium to put into the paint, so it turned into like pretty much fabric paint, like I explained already. But after that, then I'll finally be able to try them on and see how they look, which I'm very eager to see how they look, because they look really good right now, and I just really want to just try them on. So I will show you how they look just right now.